Hello there. It's Saturday night, and like all the cool kids right now, I am at home recording podcasts. This is Sam, and this is the VictorPrep Vocab podcast. Let's go over last episode's words. The words were pathogenic, venerable, dilatory, and admonish. Firstly, pathogenic. Pathogenic means capable of producing disease, or disease-causing, often used with bacteria and viruses. Venerable. Venerable means given a great deal of respect. It's a word that's applied to people usually, and it's about those people who are given a lot of respect because of age, wisdom, character. Dilatory. That means slow to act. It also means intending to cause a delay. And our final word from last time was admonish. Now, admonish has two meanings. It means to warn someone or reprimand someone firmly. Also means to advise or urge someone in an earnest way. So you could admonish someone to drink less alcohol, for example. Those were our words from last time. I hope they didn't come as a surprise to you. If they did, perhaps you didn't listen to the previous episode, and you probably should do. Although, I suppose it doesn't really matter if you listen to the episodes out of order, but you probably should do just because I remind you of the words in the next episode. And that's for a reason, right? The reason why we repeat these things is through repetition, we learn. We cannot learn anything without some sort of repetition. That's why we have the test episodes, which will come every 10 episodes. That's why I try and find numerous ways of describing each word. Just hearing a word once with a description, unless you're some sort of mad genius, is probably not going to lead to a long-term memory of that word. Let's move on to the new words. Our first word is ingratiate. Ingratiate. That's spelled I-N-G-R-A-T-I-A-T-E. Ingratiate. Ingratiate is a verb, and it means to try and win favor with someone by flattering them or trying to please them. Now, if you've been following the podcast, you'll remember a word called toady. A toady is a person who tries to win people over in a very obsequious, a very crawling kind of way. So you could say that a toady is a person who tries to ingratiate themselves with other people. So you might know someone at work, or someone at school, or just one of your friends that often is trying to win favor of other people by being extra nice to them. Often it's people who are above you in some way. So you're trying to gain social rank or improve your standings at work. Note, this is also quite similar to another word we've done previously, which is propitiate. Now, propitiate implies that your standings with whoever you're trying to propitiate are not currently good. So it's usually you've done something to anger someone, and now you're trying to win their favor again, or regain their favor. So there is a subtle difference between ingratiate and propitiate. Ingratiate is just you're trying to gain someone's favor. Propitiate is usually meaning you've angered someone or upset someone, and you're trying to do something for them to win their favor back. Some synonyms of ingratiate are win over, to get in good with, to curry favor with, to cultivate. One way I remember ingratiate is to think of the word gratitude. If you have gratitude, you have positive feelings for someone because they did something for you. The in at the start of ingratiate implies into. It implies a sort of action or movement. So ingratiate means almost to bring into gratitude. So to ingratiate yourself with someone is to bring yourself into gratitude with them in a weird way. So a way of remembering that is to remember the word gratitude. You're grateful. So if you have gratitude, that's feeling thankful for something good that happened. Think of the guy at work who tries to ingratiate himself with the boss by learning how to play golf. Our second word is euphony. Euphony, that is spelled E-U-P-H-O-N-Y. So the U sound comes from the E-U. And phony, that's P-H-O-N-Y, euphony. This is actually one of my favourite words. I love this word. It means the quality of being pleasing to the ear, especially through a formation of nicely put together words. It can mean nice sounding music. Some synonyms are harmony, melody, consonance. But note, with this word, there aren't any other meanings that really mean exactly the same. So, how can you remember euphony? Well, the EU at the start of a word often means something positive, that EU root. So if you think of eulogy, a eulogy is a very positive, a very loving speech about someone. So eulogy, that's something, if you remember that word, you can say eulogy is positive. So euphony, you know from that root, the EU, that it's going to be a positive word. Now, the phony part, P-H-O-N-Y. Think of headphones. And phone in itself, P-H-O-N-E, comes from the Greek word meaning sound. That's why a lot of words with phone in have to do with sound. Think headphone, telephone, gramophone, etc. So euphony, meaning good sound, well, it makes a lot of sense, right? Euphony means nice sound, something that's very pleasing to the ears. The language of Shakespeare, if you ever read him, is a great example of euphony. The way he uses words, the way he uses rhyme and rhythm, that is euphonious. So, euphony is the noun, euphonious is the adjective. Our third word is polyglot. Polyglot. That is P-O-L-Y-G-L-O-T. Polyglot is a person who knows and uses several languages. That doesn't usually mean someone who just knows 2 languages. Often polyglot implies 3 or more. Polyglot should be quite easy to remember because we should know that poly, when used at the start of a word, means many. So another word you might know is polygon, meaning a shape with many sides. Poly in this case again means many. I think the gon part of polygon means sides. However, with polyglot, meaning someone who knows many languages, the glot part comes from the word glottis, I think, meaning part of the vocal cords. That's the scientific term for part of the larynx. So polyglot, if you think glottis, part of the throat, where we make our sounds from, I think that's where polyglot comes from. Okay, I just did a quick check for that, because I don't want to say anything that is wrong. But polyglot comes from poly, which means many, and glotta, meaning tongue. So I was pretty close. I guess glottis comes from the same root. So yes, polyglot, a person that knows and uses several languages. Our fourth word is lachrymose. Lachrymose. That word is spelled L-A-C-H, lac, R-Y, re, mose, M-O-S-E, lachrymose. Lachrymose is an adjective, and it means tearful, extremely sad, or someone who is weeping or crying or prone to weeping. So whenever you see someone crying because something sad has happened, maybe they just watched Bambi, and they are pink-eyed, they're sniffling, tears are running down their face, they are lachrymose. Everyone can think of something, some book, some movie, that makes them lachrymose. Again, some synonyms for lachrymose are teary, weeping, weepy, sad, and tearful. I tried a little to think of good ways of remembering lachrymose, but I'm drawing a blank right now. So I suggest you take extra care with this one when you're trying to learn it. Think of a few more example sentences, because there are not really any very obvious word roots in lachrymose that are in other words you might know. So it's not going to be that simple to memorize this one. You're really going to have to practice it a little, listen to this podcast a couple of times, maybe to remind yourself, and write down a bunch of examples. Think of all the times you can think of when you were lachrymose. Actually, that might work, but I don't want you to make yourself upset by thinking of times when you were sad. So, yeah, you could maybe think of movies where someone else was lachrymose. That might be a bit better. That way, you'll still remember it, but you won't be making yourself sad. I don't want you to make yourself sad. But if you made yourself sad and you cried, then you would be lachrymose. See, I'm really trying to drill this into you guys. So, this brings us to our test sentences. As always, I'll be going over 4 sentences, which are referring to today's words, but not actually using those words. And it's up to you to work out which word I'm referring to. In my travels, I've met a few people who knew many different languages. I was extremely jealous of them. Jack tried to win over his boss by doing extra work at the weekends. He was determined to get a promotion. I went to a concert to see the singer Leonard Cohen. His lyrics and music combined to amazing effect. I was carried away by the sound. Sarah sat crying by the window. She was so moved by the book she had just finished reading. Okay, guys, I'm going to make this wrap up really quick because I've been drawing out these podcasts a little long recently. Maybe I've been putting too much description in. So, as always, all your feedback, comments, questions, concerns, if you thought it was good, let me know. On my email address, sam.fold@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. It wouldn't be the same without you guys, obviously. The people make the podcast, not me. Well, I mean, kind of anyway. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.